Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. We are going over lesson 9a, more with exponents, negative exponents, independent practice. So the first direction says write each expression using a positive exponent. Evaluate where possible. So I'm just going to quickly go over negative exponents in case your memory is faulty. Negative exponents mean you flip the fraction. So if you look at it, its negative sign could almost be like the bar in a fraction, and you're just going to flip because of that. So let's take a look at this first problem, which has two properties. First of all, you have this base, which is 5m squared. 5m squared. And you have this exponent, negative 4. And that negative 4 has to go to the 5, and it has to go to the 2. So this is going to be 5 to the negative 4th power. And this is going to be m squared times negative 4. So you have to do both. 5 to the negative 4th power. You know what? I'll do that part second. I'll do this part first. I'm going to leave 5 to the negative 4th power. And now I'm going to do this. This is the power rule of exponents. When you have one base and two exponents, keep the base and multiply the exponents. 2 times negative 4, negative 8. Now, this is the part where we get to flip. So I can't flip a number that's not a fraction, so I'm going to make both of these part of the same fraction over 1. So when it flips, the 1 goes on top of the fraction, and 5 is now 5 to the 4th, and m to the negative 8th is now m to the 8th. They both become positive. Once you flip over that bar, you are positive. So the 1 stays on top, and I'm going to evaluate, because 5 to the 4th power can be evaluated. 5 times 5 is 25. Times 5 is 125. Times 5 is 625. You could use a calculator to do it, but I'm almost as good. So 5 to the 4th power is 625, but I can't evaluate m to the 8th power because m to the 8th power has a base that is a variable. So there's my answer. The next one. Well, I'm going to separate this out. I'm going to take 16, the coefficient, negative 16, and I'm going to divide it by the coefficient, negative 8. I'm going to do that right away just to get it out of my way. 16 divided by 8 is 2, but so is negative 16 divided by negative 8. It's still positive 2. So for this part, I have x, and I'm going to subtract top minus bottom, 9 minus 9. That gets interesting. I also have this base y. Nothing happens to the y, but keep the base x, and now I have this exponent 0. We'll get back to that. And I keep the y. Now, what's a 0 exponent? Well, a 0 exponent is anything to the 0th power is 1, but only the base to the 0 power is 1. So only x to the 0 power is 1. That 2, that coefficient 2, that stays 2. Have some equal signs here. But now x to the 0 power, that's times 1, and the y, just times y. Now, the identity property says anything times 1 is itself. So 2 times 1 is 2, and y times 1 is y. So what I have left here is 2y. Not too bad. The next one, haha. I'm actually not going to use a law of exponent here. I'm going to fall back on something. I'm going to say 3 to the 5th power is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 over 3 to the 6th power. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 1 more 3. And that's going to equal what? Well, let's take a look at it. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 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 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. And this 3 is on the bottom, so it stays on the bottom. So my answer is going to be 1/3. Now, you could do it like that. There is no problem. If that's how you feel comfortable with this kind of problem, go right ahead. Me, I would do it this way. 3 to the 5th power minus 6th power. It's always going to be the top minus the bottom exponent, which is 3 to the negative 1st power, which has to go over 1 because negatives, got that bar there. When you flip it over, it's still 1/3. What about the 1 exponent? You don't have to write that. Still the same answer. And whichever way you choose to do it is fine with me. Unless I write directions that are really specific, like this next one says, use the laws of exponents. If you did this top part and the direction said use the laws of exponents, you'd be wrong. But if you did you'd equally be wrong if I said expand and you did the bottom. You got to do what the directions say. So for the next one, I'm multiplying. I'm going to multiply the coefficients, 2 times 3. I'm going to keep the base, a, and now I'm going to subtract the add the exponents. 4 plus -7. Well, let's see. The signs are different, so you subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. 7 is larger, absolute value, so it's going to be -3. So I get 2, I should have just multiplied that. 2 times 3 is 6. So I get 6 with the base a, so 6 times a to the -3rd power. Now, only the a has the -3rd exponent, so only the a is going to get flipped. It's only the part with the exponent that either becomes 1 if it's 0 or gets flipped if it's negative. The 6 doesn't have an exponent. The 6 is just fine. That 6 stays by itself up here on top. But this gets flipped over to be 1 over a to the 3rd. But I can combine that. I can put a 1 under here and go 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times a to the 3rd is a to the 3rd. And there's my real answer, 6 over a to the 3rd, positive exponents. Now this one is different. I can't do this down here because it says very specifically, use the laws of exponents to simplify each expression. I'm also going to evaluate if possible. I can't evaluate a lot. So the laws of exponents here. This is the power rule. Keep the base m and multiply. 2 times 0. 2 times 0. Well, anything times 0 is 0, so 2 times 0, m to the 0 power. And anything to the 0 power, 1. Ba, 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 bam. Beautiful. This one, you divide the coefficients. So -10 divided by -2. You keep the base, x. Subtract the exponents, top minus bottom, 5 minus 5. All right, let's see. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and -10 divided by -2 is still positive 5. Same signs, the answer is positive. X and 5 minus 5 is 0. Now remember, that's 5 times x to the 0 power. So it's only x to the 0 power that becomes 1. So this is 5 times 1. This part, only this part, becomes 1. 5 times 1 is 5. All right. Have a great day. We'll do some more work tomorrow. Bye.